and they're both correct.
Suppose that the standard deviation of 9 paired differences is 1. What would the average difference have to be so that the lower endpoint of a 95% student's t-confidence interval touches 0? So in this case, I just wrote out n is 9, standard deviation is 1, and they're paired differences. So what that means is we had pairs of measurements, like let's say a baseline and a follow-up measurement, and we subtracted them. That's what we do when we have paired differences. And so the idea of the paired difference interval would be, it would be the average difference plus or minus the appropriate t quantile, right, the 0.975th t quantile, times the standard deviation, which is 1, divided by square root n, which is square root 9, which is 3. Okay, so just to remind ourselves, the appropriate t quantile is the 1, so that 2.5% lies above it, and 2.5% would lie below the negative of it. So this would be t 0.975, and then the degrees of freedom are the n minus 1, so the degrees of freedom are 8. So I could just write t 0.975, 8. Okay, and so we're interested in the lower endpoint, so let's just forget about that plus, because that'll give us the upper endpoint, so that's the lower endpoint, and we want to know when that touches 0. Okay, so the average would have to be y bar has to be equal to t times the 0.975th quantile divided by 3. So we just need to figure out what the 0.975th quantile is and divide it by 3. So let's go ahead and do that. I have RStudio open, so I want QT 0.975, but remember the t distribution also has its degrees of freedom. Its degrees of freedom is 8, and we don't want to divide that by 3. So it says it should be around 0.77. Okay, so let's go back to our web page and type in 0.77 and submit. And there's the check mark.